All right, welcome on in, everybody, back to her Sportsbook for UFC Austin, Kattar versus Josh Emmett. We're back. Going to give you, of course, to cover the main event, the co-main, or our underdog locks of the night, as we always do. Before we get into that, we do want to preface a few things going forward. Just the state of, I guess, the overall channel and, this show as well, obviously, and just ways that we're going to be expanding our content and just getting it, more out there and just, I'm going to leave it to Rob to go in depth to break it down.
All right. So obviously you guys are probably thinking that, why can't these two idiots just make up their minds about what we want to do with this channel? But no, we were talking about it and we were saying that maybe, especially right now with Talking Tough as well, we have the 3 pods per week, and we were thinking about it and we were we feel like we're just oversaturating it a little bit, and we're maybe more focused on promotion of the videos and research of the videos, and it doesn't leave us as much time to just create as much as we want to, and basically do what we initially wanted to when we started the channel. Because as much as we enjoy doing the podcast, we also want to do other things with it too, that right now I guess all these podcasts are technically limiting, and obviously plus me and you have lives outside of the pods right now. But so pretty much going forward, this in terms of fight nights will be the last normal Hurt Sportsbook. I know we just switched to the other format, but we're gonna do it a different way going forward. We'll still have a separate video for the Hurt Sportsbook for every pay-per-view, but for the fight nights going forward, we're gonna kind of merge it with the Hurt Handbook, and we'll have a section for it at the end where we'll just talk about the fights from a technical aspect, the same as we will today, the main and co-main. But for the more fantasy and betting aspect of it, we'll kind of regulate that to the social media, on Twitter and Instagram. And, that's where we'll post the lock of the night, the underdog of the night. So in our minds, that'll also get people to the social media pages if they're not on them already. And obviously the links are always in the descriptions of the videos. But just going forward, we wanted to do that. We figure one good podcast a week. Obviously right now Talking Tough is there too, but after the season ends, it'll be 1 pod a week. And then, from there, we can just work on other stuff that we want to do for you guys, hopefully interviews down the line, some documentaries about maybe some fighters, even documentaries doing deep dives into the past, MMA lore, history, things like that. And just any other things that we think of that along the way that we want to bring to you guys. But we think it'll definitely improve the channel. Yeah. It'll definitely make us work a lot harder on one thing rather than trying to put our energy into a bunch of different things. You know what I mean? So
quality over quantity.
Exactly that. We want to keep doing what got us here in the first place, and we feel like we've strayed away from it a tiny bit, but we're getting back to it. But with that, we'll just get right into the fights as we usually do, so I'll bring it back to you for that.
Yeah, so the UFC is back traveling for fight nights. At least I would...
Somewhat.
Somewhat.
They've been doing them occasionally, but now it feels like they're getting, especially for the summer, I feel like they're getting back to it a little more.
Yeah, on the surface, it's whatever, they're going to fight, it's a fight, it's going to happen and whatnot, but, it does, especially when, with us, breaking down the card, it's giving predictions and whatnot, in terms of, the cage and whatnot, it's no longer the Apex cage and whatnot, it's a more, obviously, bigger cage, arena-sized cage, exactly. So, that does play factor into some, some sort of fighter styles and whatnot, and, how we can dictate how a fight might go and whatnot, but this one up top, it's being absolutely just fireworks, honestly, from start to finish, no matter what cage these two are going to fight in, between Kattar and Josh Emmett. Just two guys who are, more in Kattar's case, honestly, guys, an absolute just, striking just wizard. And then Josh Emmett, obviously, as well, has got just, crazy power in those hands, and just someone that could put your lights out with one shot at any given moment. But essentially, I think how... because I want to say, if Emmett's looking to stand up, which I would think he is looking to stand up with Kattar, especially this being a 5-round fight as well, which Calvin Kattar is no stranger to. Obviously, it's one of the most craziest 5-round fights ever with, Max Holloway. And then Josh Emmett, this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be his first 5-round fight.
I think he's been scheduled in a few. I don't know how many, but I know for a fact he's at least had one. But, I don't think he's... he might have gone the 5 rounds before, but I know he's definitely had some 5-round fights. But I'm not sure how long they've gone off the top of my head. I could look it up while you keep going about it. I'll let you know.
If he has had a 5-round fight, he hasn't gone into, the 4th and 5th round. In which case, true. Especially if this fight is going to be on the feet for the most part, I think just the more and more, Calvin Kattar is just going to lay it on the more and more the fight goes, and just, probably, essentially just win by points. Because
he won a 5-rounder, early in his professional career, so he has done it, but not recently.
Okay. In his in the UFC.
No, it was in a regional promotion, but he was a pro when he did it. So
yeah, so essentially just how I'm figuring is, if he's looking, because Josh Bennett obviously with that brawling type style, we already know what Calvin Kattar, this dude can take a shot, it's gonna be real.
Take a few of them, I think.
It's gonna take quite a bit to put him down and knock him out for good. But I'm backing Kattar here. I looked at the books and whatnot earlier. He's a big favorite. I think that so right now he's a minus 240. I think that's I could see that going down a little bit as we get closer to the fight. He was still him as a favorite, but just showing a little more, respect to Josh Emmett and what he can bring. But I'm running with the favorite here. I think it makes sense. I like Calvin Kattar probably by a decision victory. And what were you thinking for this fight? Yeah,
I'm in a similar spot as you for this one. I think it'll be a Calvin Kattar win. I just think that Calvin Kattar, like you said, on the feet, it's just, he's got great boxing. And honestly, people want to, brand him just as, a boxer, but he does have, good kicks and elbows and stuff, too, and he's got a lot of power behind it. And, on Josh Emmett's side, obviously, he's got the power, but, he's definitely going to be fighting at a reach disadvantage against Kattar, and maybe he'll use that to use his wrestling more. But even if he tries to use his wrestling...
I just think the grappling, altogether is, going to cancel each other out. I think they both just have, the good enough, takedown defense to, stuff each other. Any,
that's kind of
takedowns that might be. And then, I really don't.
I feel like Emmett, has good, probably, better top control than Kattar, but I think Calvin Kattar has, really good takedown defense. And, I just don't think Cater's going to try and take him down.
If it goes to the ground, then, I'm still going to be, pretty, that. That's where I think, Taz are going to turn, now I'm really, honing in on, who's going to win this fight or not. But I would think,
it
favors, I would think it probably favors Josh Emmett, but...
I think it'll be on the feet, though.
Yeah,
like you said.
Yeah, for the most part.
He might be able to finish him, though, because Emmett, it sucks. I think another reason, that's not, something that stifled him in a way. I guess it's just a lot of injuries in Josh Emmett's career. He had, I remember against Jeremy Stevens, that was a 5-round fight, actually. That did not go anywhere near 5 rounds. Jeremy Stevens hit him so hard. He broke, bones in his face. It was bad. He was out for a while with that. And, his last fight, I think, was Shane Burgos. Or did he have another one after that?
It was Burgos.
Yeah, that's... a long time ago at this point. I was a co-main of a fight night, I think 2020 or 21. I think he tore his ACL in that one, and for a guy who's been around for a bit, getting a little older, especially in a division like featherweight, I don't know. I don't think that bodes very well. I feel like Kattar's just going to be a step above him in every aspect, and I think he might be able to finish him in this one, even with that.
Just going from that to, 2 fighters actually that haven't fought in quite some time, fight that you personally might be a little bitter about, but, hopefully
I'm a little more confident though in my prediction now. Now I have a better feeling about it.
For sure. I honestly feel the same way, if it happened on the pay-per-view, versus it happening now.
There's definitely less pressure on one side of it now, but...
The lightweight bout between Cowboy Donald Cerrone and Joe Lazzone. It's finally happening. We don't get.
We'll see. No, I'm just joking. I think it will happen. Yeah, but you never know
this time around. And I think it's probably one that's honestly gonna end quick. better for, at least the Cowboys case, probably for the worse. Like I think the quicker this fight is, it's probably with him losing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Joe Lozone is no stranger to like this spotlight in KG. Like he's been here like almost just as long as Cowboy
Lozone's
has.
been there since the beginning too. At this point, like
so I mean, it's another one of these fights, between like two, OGs of the sport. Like they're just looking to just put on a great showing for us fans, and you can appreciate it. And I mean, I think it does go that way. Like I think we do see like I mean, the thing in Cowboys' case is like he's known to just start slow in fights, and I just think Joe Zone is just he's gonna come out guns blazing. He's gonna be landing on the Cowboy, and it's whether or not Cowboy can withstand that initial flurry, and then take it to possibly the third round, and then see what happens there. But that's pretty much how I'm feeling. I think the flashy, sexy pick would be Joe Zone by knockout, but
it's possible. I mean, like, I think it's because, like you said, Cerrone always starts kind of slow, and I truly believe that, like, at this point, like, he's just not at where he used to be, like, not even really near it. I just think that, like I said when I initially talked about this, but whenever it was on the pay-per-view, I think it was 273, but, yeah, pretty much just, like, Cerrone, I think at this point his confidence is a little bit shaky, and even if he's having like good experiences in training, I feel like it's more like the fact that they're probably going at like a slower pace than they are in a fight, and I think that's why he might be struggling in the fights despite doing good in training. Like it might just be tricking his mind.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it could be anything. Like, he is obviously getting older, too, and he knows that.
I really do think this fight could go. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I think, the flashy pick would be to pick Joe Lozone by knockout. Yeah. I think it's what the Sharks like and all that, the books, the industry likes and all that. But, really, honestly, this is pretty... At least, if Cowboy can withstand that initial flurry that I think Lozone is going to throw at him, like, I think it's anybody's fight.
I just don't know if he can do that. Like, I think,
That's
like, Joe Lozon,
yeah.
like, it's almost like he's, like, the opposite of Cowboy. Like, Joe Lozon, like, he's, all gas, no brakes for all 3 rounds. Like, he's not fading.
I could legit even see, like, an early, like, ref stoppage.
Like, if Cowboy just covers
Cowboy.
up.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Like, I don't think Cowboy, like, I think the only way Cowboy wins is if he, like, hits him with a good shot, but I just don't see him doing that.
Yeah.
I think Lozon's just going to blitz him early and maybe either knock him down or take him down. I think the sad part is I think there's more of a chance that he knocks him down than takes him down, because Cowboy does have, like, really good takedown defense. His grappling is very underrated as it is. But I think, like, in this one, Joe Lozon, he's obviously, like, a jiu-jitsu black belt on the ground, and he's a really good black belt, has a bunch of submissions in the UFC against high-level competition. I just think that this ends up somehow with Cerrone on the ground, whether it be from a knockdown or a takedown early, and maybe just a quick guillotine from Joe Lozon. Like, I just see a quick submission or ground and pound finish where the ref pulls him off, like you kind of just said. I wish I could say better because I love Cowboy. But, I mean, I'm a big Lozon fan too, but obviously Cowboy's like a fan favorite. I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this one. Like, not as bad as I did when, like, he was fighting, like, Morono and some of those other guys, but I think this one, I don't think he comes out of this one with a win.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you there. Just once again, like, I think if it goes beyond, if it goes until his third round, like, I honestly would think it's gonna favor Cowboy, but we'll see if he can take it there. As far as these locks and underdogs of the night go, like, I think it was more like the card would be covered just before the pay-per-view in terms, like, there's pretty relatively, like, good locks throughout, and then the underdogs are a little dicey. But my lock of the night honestly came, like, relatively easy, and it's actually the fight that's happening before these two that we just broke down, featuring Kevin Holland taking on Tim Means. And I love Kevin Holland here to not just win, but I think, like, we're gonna see an early finish as well by knockout, probably most likely for Kevin Holland. And even I won't say which round exactly, but I don't see this fight going into the third round. I just think Kevin Holland's gonna overpower him with the power, and then just probably might see a bit of a ground sequence. Is probably gonna play into Tim Means' favor, but yeah, Kevin Holland by knockout here. I'm liking it quite a bit, and
Yeah, I don't know if he wins by knockout, but I definitely think that he could win the fight. I think it's a tougher fight than people like are giving, including you are giving him credit for. Tim Means is a dog. He's got that dog mentality. No, but he's been fighting forever. He's got a good all around game. He's a better striker than people give him credit for. And at 170 though, like even despite like it being there, and like obviously Tim Means has been at 170 for a while, I still think Kevin Holland will probably have a speed advantage, which I think plays into his favor. But yeah, that fight I'm interested in seeing. Like I was kind of happy it wasn't the co-main event because I really didn't know who to pick for that one. Because I said to myself, all the stuff on the feet goes null and void if Tim Means takes him down and keeps him there, which he can do. But I don't know if he will. It all depends on how Kevin Holland comes out in this one. Because if he overextends, he might get taken down. But who knows? I like this fight a lot because both these guys are coming. It's not like they're not competitors, they're fighters. Like they're coming to separate the other guy from consciousness. So either way, this is going to be a good one.
I feel like I just think Kevin Holland's just hitting that stride again. I feel like after he hit that bit of a bump after that awesome 2020 he had, and then coming off another winner as well. He's honestly he hasn't even been that long since that last fight. He's back in.
I like that Oliveira fight. That was a good fight for him.
Yeah, seriously. Honestly, I think it's part of what shapes into how I feel he's gonna come out in this fight. And like you said, they're both gonna be looking to put each other away, separate each other from consciousness, like you said. I love fights like that. For me, I think another person that's gonna be trying to separate someone from consciousness, who's my lock of the night, is Adrian Yanez over Tony Kelly. I just think I think Tony Kelly is like a pretty good fighter, and I think he's he's obviously come to scrap, but Adrian Yanez is, I think, faster. I think he's going to land more clean. It's really not that great of a fight for Kelly, honestly. Yeah, he's going to make it a fun fight. I think it'll be like a war for as long as it lasts, but I think it only gets to a certain point. I really like Yanez, too, coming up in that division. Yeah, well, I like him to a point. I kind of think he's a bit, because they're hyping him up like he's the next big thing. I remember when he was calling out Sugar Sean, I was like, he will get starched by Sugar Sean, I guarantee it. It's one of those fighters, it's like... Brendan Fitzgerald's favorite fighter, in my opinion. Is the UFC gonna fast track him, or they're not? They give him all these fight night fights on cards like this, where there's some good guys but not a lot. So it's usually a decent card where there's some eyeballs on it, and then they give him a fight like this where he's gonna tag the guy up and he's gonna look like he's the best boxer since Muhammad Ali. But I think he'll win this fight, obviously, because he's my lock of the night. But I just want to see him fight somebody more towards that upper echelon. I think he's earned that type of fight. And even somebody it's almost they're coddling him or protecting him. Because what you said, it's everyone, clearly the hype is there. Yeah. It's the UFC feels like they throw him in, to that upper echelon, and he's not going to get it done. Then it's he's very hittable. That's the only thing for me. He's got great he's good at landing shots, but he takes shots too. And I feel he called out O'Malley. That's a fight I hated for him at the time. I was I think Sean O'Malley would hit him with something bad. I think Tony Kelly's gonna be able to land shots too because of that. But, exactly. I just don't think it's gonna be enough. I think Yanez just has the better, the better avenue to getting it done. So that's he's more slick solid with it. I think that's what it is. I think he's gonna land more in the pocket than Tony Kelly, and I think he could hurt Tony Kelly bad with some of his power. Because he's got power. He has a very slick boxing. It's just getting better and better, He's still young. Let's give him some time. But I don't know. Then again, he's beaten some good guys. I think he's earned, though, I guess one of those top, 15, 20-ish type guys. I feel like these mid-tier journeyman type fighters that they keep kind of giving him, I think he's passed those tests. And I feel like he's going to pass this one like he has all the other ones. Fair. And these underdogs, they came a little hard to come by again this week, admittedly. But I did find one in a fight that honestly I think should be a pick'em, but it's not. So in that case, you go with the underdog here. That is the Cuban Missile Crisis himself, Julian Marquez. I love Julian Marquez. I picked him too. I really just do think I'm maybe not in dominant fashion, but honestly that's gonna be another good fight on this card. I'm really just impressed with its ground game. I think that's how he's gonna get it done. Probably a lot of control time and whatnot. Any clinch situation, I think he'll fare well in. I agree. It's really beyond that, like, yeah, right now you're getting Julian. Last time I checked, it was a plus 165 to win, and it's just, once again, like, I think this fight that, honestly, yeah, even I think it does go the distance. In which case, like, once again, like, I think this fight should be closer than what the books are giving it credit for.
Me
like
too.
Pick'em territory.
I was surprised he was an underdog, to be honest. Like,
exactly.
him and Gregory both hit very hard, but I thought Julian Marquez is like definitely more well-rounded.
Yeah.
But I guess that's just us. Maybe the
I
books
don't think
differently.
he's gonna allow himself to get hit. Honestly, I really don't.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's gonna clinch up anytime it gets close
up,
like that.
Any ground sequence as well, I think it's gonna favor him. So
yeah, I like that pick. I almost picked that one myself, but I ended up picking someone that we were talking about before. I know it was pretty close odds, so I don't know if he's still the underdog, but he was when I picked him. Joe Lozon, I still have him. He was the underdog when I looked, and I just think that I think he's going to beat Donald Cerrone. I really do. I just think it's a bad matchup for Cerrone. I feel like someone who starts that fast.
In which case, Lozon is probably he's probably relatively cheap on DraftKings as well. In which case, the field's probably going to be I think the field's going to be on your side too, and it's just going to be another probably not definitely not like a Jack Della Maddalena case where like the price tag is just wrong.
Yeah, I was so happy when he won, man. I was
for
so
a guy
happy.
That's going to win by knockout, but
I called my shot with that one. I was like Babe Ruth out there. that was a good pick. I was happy with that. Man. But literally, like, this is gonna be a fun card though. Like, I like that now. I feel like now that the fans are coming back, they're starting to put some better names on these cards and not giving us like these ones with all these guys like straight off the Contender Series. Yeah, exactly.
I think it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense to do that. I wish it would just be for every card, but like
Me too. I used to watch like a bunch of the old ones. They used to have some nice ones back when they were on Fox, but nowadays, like with that ESPN deal, like we were just saying, oversaturation.
Well, essentially, that does it for this, more concise episode of the Sportsbook along, as well as, an update going forward and how we're, I'm pretty excited to enact this.
I feel like it'll be good.
I think it definitely makes sense. We talked it over, thought about it, whatnot. But
because like we're cutting it down like anyway to do it for like the show, like obviously later in the week. So we said to ourselves like, we might as well add it as a section. And like, honestly, we'll probably still call it the Hurt Sportsbook even on there. Like, I'll probably put like a section in the video.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But like, legit, like, I think it'll definitely like open up more like doors for the channel and stuff. It'll help us promote more on like our social media pages like Instagram and Twitter right now. And and like I said before, just more creative freedom with the videos, and we could just provide more like just more interesting content outside of podcasts for you guys, because we feel like that'll definitely be an interesting thing for the channel. But besides that, I guess we'll be back on Monday with the Hurt Handbook, and you guys will see the new layout after that. So peace.